a Bulldog Radio podcast.
The Ferris State Bulldogs have upset the nation's #2 ranked team. Wide open! Taylor is going to take this one to the house! Touchdown Bulldogs!
You're listening to Ferris State's leading sports podcast. Welcome in everybody to the MBSP. Brandon Worth, Joe Nagy, and we have a banger of an episode today, Joe.
Are we like the only Ferris State sports podcast?
Well, that's beyond the point, but we are the leaders.
That is true. It is easy to be the leader when you're the only dog in the pack.
That is true. I call it trailblazing.
That is true.
Trailblazing.
Maybe somebody will take the helm with us for us when we leave in the spring. Crazy
Don't make
stuff.
me think about that, Joe. It makes me sad.
Do have a good episode for you guys today. A great one on deck. Got some Ferris State sports reviews.
A lot of it.
Yeah, college football as well to talk about. And then for the undercover sports, we're going to talk about some pro pool action.
Did you say billiards?
Billiards, pool, one of the two. We can have a debate on what we should call it too, but it's going to be going. But before we get into that, we got a great interview with Izzy Zamborini, goal scoring machine on the Ferris State soccer team. Brandon, it was a good interview.
It was a good interview. So let's take you to the interview. Now joining us in studio, goal scoring machine of Ferris State Soccer, Izzy Zamborini joins us. Izzy, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
Izzy, so good to have you on. First question for you. A goal on Friday against Saginaw Valley and a goal against Northwood yesterday, Monday. That makes 4 goals in 3 games. Like you've been, like Brandon said, a goal scoring machine. Can you talk about what you've been doing to just find the ball at your feet and those chances where you can capitalize in front of the net?
Yeah, I mean, as a team, we've really been trying to put the ball more in the back of the net. Greg's really been hammering it in that we need to get our shots on target so that we can put them in the back of the net. So we do little extra practices every week. We have like an hour of free kick training and like extra shooting practice. And so I think that that's been helping a lot. And we're all getting a little more confident in front of the net. And so now we've been able to finish some more of them. So
awesome.
And you guys have now won 4 of your last 5 on a little bit of a run here, especially at home. Just talk about being able to get that confidence going forward now with a couple big road trips ahead.
Yeah, this is definitely a different team than last year. You know, we're pretty young. So I think our road to success was going to be a little different this year. We had to kind of get the freshmen ready at the beginning. We didn't start out too good, but now we're all on the same page. We've been doing a ton of film, you know, trying to get everybody in the right positions, fixing the mistakes that we've had. And it's been working out, you know. We have been having some good results. So hopefully, I think we played our best soccer in this last game. We kept the ball on the ground. We kept possession very well. So if we can continue to do that moving forward this next weekend, we should get some good results too. So.
And you are a transfer coming from Bellarmine in Louisville. How's that been transitioning to Ferris? You know, small town USA from, the big city lights of Louisville, Kentucky. What was that kind of like for that transition?
Yeah, it was definitely a transition to say the least. I'm like really, really family oriented. So it was nice to like go to college and be 20 minutes away from my parents and have them at every game. But I think this transition has helped me grow more as a person than like I ever could have staying in Louisville. So it's really only been good. Like when people ask me like, do you feel like you made the right decision? I'm just like, yes, like 100%. I have no regrets. Like I love it here. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And we hear from a lot of transfers, obviously a lot of different journeys. What would you say was one of the major things that led you to take that step coming from Louisville and now all the way up here to Big Rapids?
Yeah, so my school previously was a Division II school in the GLVC, and then my final year there, we transitioned to Division I, and we moved into the ASUN conference. And I just, honestly, I don't feel like our team was really ready for that transition, and COVID gave me the opportunity to take a 5th year. I don't think I would have transferred if I had only had 1 year. So I just decided that I felt like I could find a better fit elsewhere. And my dad was really kind of the driving force of me transferring. And I don't think I could have done it if I didn't have the support of my parents, which was nice. So
Yeah, for sure. And especially kind of like geographically wise, it's a big difference. But what's kind of been the biggest differences between the two programs kind of as a team and just kind of internally wise?
I felt like Ferris is just a little bit more professional with how they are in terms of sports teams. Like, you really feel like the school cares about how you're doing as a program. And I feel like they care about all the athletics programs. Like, we all had great seasons last year. Athletics at Ferris is like thriving. Just like little things, like I would text my former teammates and just be like, oh, they wash our jerseys here for us. Like, that's so
Wow.
that's so nice.
Right,
Like,
that's big time.
and
here.
at Bellarmine we didn't have a locker room, so that was like, Greg was hesitant to show me the locker room because he's like, it's really small, and I was like, it literally can't be worse than not having a locker room.
Locker
So
room is better than no locker
yeah,
room.
exactly.
That is true. But obviously coming from Bellarmine and prepping at DuPont Manual, and there was a unique thing I found in your bio. You played club level at the Kentucky State Olympic Development Program. What was that like? It sounds really cool.
Yeah. So I guess every state has ODP, Olympic Development Program. And it's just, they try to get all the best players in the state to come together and like play games. And actually, they took us all the way over to the Netherlands. And so we played soccer against teams in the Netherlands, which that was probably the coolest thing I've ever done.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah,
That's
it was awesome. So yeah.
Wow, that is unique.
That's really cool. And especially, Northwood had a really big breakout game for the team. 4 goals, the most that we've scored so far this season. How important is that for the team to finally get that breakout, to break that threshold, especially with the second half of the season coming up?
That was huge. I mean, Northwood has won all of their games. They're like leading in their conference right now. So they're going to be pretty high in the regional rankings. So to get a win against them was huge for us. And to have like multiple people scoring in the game, Bryn's goal was crucial. She got the first goal, which I think, gave us all a little bit more like a breath of relief. And then Peyton with the 2 goals, like it was fun, honestly. It was a team effort, and we were all hype. So very good for the confidence.
It was great to watch too.
Yeah, for sure. And as like we would quote you really as an upperclassman, especially grade wise, but obviously you coming in here only a couple years ago, but with a lot of the young talent in the forward position spot. I mean, you just mentioned Peyton Price as well. Just talk about the relationship you have with a lot of those forwards and what you guys do to work together each and every practice.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we're struggling up top, no one blames anybody. And we just come together and we're like, okay, like, what can we do? Like, what spaces are open? And it's really constructive. Like, we have very good dialogue on the field. It's not like we're yelling at each other and stuff. So I don't know. I love playing with them. He moved Nikki May from outside back to outside forward now. And, like, I think she's been a great help up top. And it's been really fun playing with her up there, too.
Yeah, I did notice that at the last game. Very interesting.
Yeah, a 2-week business trip also is coming up for the team starting this weekend. Wisconsin Parkside and Purdue Northwest are going to be on the table for you. What steps have you taken, especially the team, to get ready for those long road trips and kind of stay locked in for, a long amount of time?
Yeah, it definitely is a business trip. We go to win games. It's obviously fun to go on these little road trips with everybody, but we always say we take it a game at a time. So right now, all we talk about is Purdue Northwest and winning that game because that's the most important thing on our schedule right now. So I think we just keep working hard, keep practicing, and we're all excited to play.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you mentioned too, like before we kind of got on the mics, that you have family in Wisconsin as well.
Yeah, they'll all be there for the Sunday game in Kenosha because they're all up in Milwaukee. So it's only like an hour and a half. So
that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Obviously, with the nature of college athletics, it does include a lot of travel. Is there what's your typical trip pattern as far as like, do you like to do homework on the trips? Do you like to watch movies, listen to music? What's kind of that go-to that you can get through the road trip with?
Yeah, I definitely listen to music. People laugh because they can always hear my music just blaring through my earbuds. They're like, what is Izzy listening to? But I listen to music. I only taking 3 classes this semester, so I typically don't have a lot of homework.
That's nice.
I bring books with me on the bus. I read a lot, and yeah, it's honestly kind of like, it's nice to unwind and just chill on the bus for a little bit. So
yeah.
Do you have a pretty like vast playlist that you play, or is it kind of more like specific artists?
It's pretty vast. I listen to a lot of different types of music, so yeah.
Well, what are a few of the artists? Kind of toss them out there.
I like electronic music, like EDM music. So I listen
Interesting.
to like Odessa. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Interesting.
No
but-
clue who that is. No clue.
Joe's like, nah,
Yeah.
it's not George Strait.
Oh, I
I
was
haven't
gonna
heard
say,
of
I'm
him.
You should
a country
listen
guy,
to
so.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nice.
Oh, that's too funny. And speaking of patterns as well, like soccer isn't really known to have the most superstitious athletes, and a couple of the athletes that we've had on, they have, set routines they have to do, morning, noon, night, every time there's a game day. Do you have any like rituals or anything that you like to do to kind of get ready?
I'm not personally very superstitious. I kind of do something different for every game, but I know Jessie on our team, she always puts a penny in her sock
Interesting.
before every game. But yesterday it was in her shoe, like it fell into her shoe. So now she's like,
I was gonna say
we
that's
scored
oh,
four
some-
goals. So
oh,
now,
no.
blister
Yeah.
warnings right there. That's gonna be tough.
so now she's like, I have to put the penny in my shoe because we scored 4 goals with it in there.
Oh,
so
my.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. But, Izzy, we appreciate the time. One more question for you. We like to ask every athlete on the show, what's your favorite thing about being here at Ferris State and being a Bulldog?
I would have to definitely say the community. Just the people here are great. You really feel like love from the whole community, and you feel like they want you to succeed. We get excited to like see our pictures after the game and all that stuff. And really, one of my favorite parts is when we do like our pregame walk over to the field. Like the parents are just tailgating like so early, and you see them and they play Who Let the Dogs Out as we walk by, and like it's just fun. It's like you're excited to see everybody come out and support you.
Very cool.
I was gonna say the parents get after it.
Yeah,
they'll
they
show up like an hour
do.
before the game.
Devoted fan.
They're
They
getting
are.
after it. I'll tell you that much. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
But, Izzy, thank you so much for coming on. Hopefully you guys can really do some damage this weekend with the big road trip, and we wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having me.
Special thanks to Izzy Zamborini for hopping on the show. Appreciated having a chat with her and learning more about all these fantastic athletes we have here on campus, Joe.
For sure. It's always super great to kind of get the in and outs of what it's like to be an athlete here, so that's really cool. But going to hop right into the Ferris State Sports Report. Start off with soccer.
Why
A
not?
pretty solid weekend. Got the tie with Saginaw, so we kind of split the weekend a little bit, as one might say. A tie is, it's better than a loss, but it's not as good as a win. And then the big 4-1 win over Northwood. Yesterday for us, when are we releasing this episode?
Be Wednesday, yeah. So
yeah,
2 days
2
ago.
days for you guys listening. We'll start with Saginaw. Tale of two halves for this one. Really played super solid in the first half, had our feet on the gas. Really was taking it to him. Had a lot of corner kicks, had a lot of opportunities, but nothing kind of went through other than that first one. And then really we just kind of let off the gas really hard, and Saginaw just came back with a vengeance for the second half and ended 1-1.
Yeah, so they came out with a vengeance for sure is the phrase that comes to mind. And it was a really good effort. So I think there was really some things we could work on from this game. But, I mean, yeah, I think you're right, Joe. I mean, the first half, it was a tale of two halves, really. I mean, we played so well in the first half. Izzy scoring in the first 5 minutes, assisted by Lindsey Cole, was huge. 8 shots on net. But, 7 corner kicks in that first half. 7. And that next half, we had 1. So that's just a tough situation to go through when you have all those chances. It's not getting done. And then maybe once you make those adjustments and try to get yourself in a better position when that situation arises, then it doesn't come again. That's just the nature of sports. So it's an unfortunate game because I think we really were in the position to take this game for sure against a really good Saginaw Valley team right now at 5-3-4 on the season. So I think it's definitely one that we learn from. But I think you still go with this and you learned a lot from it, and I think they still played very, very well. And I think it really showed out on Monday against Northwood when we finally got that breakout performance that this offense has been desperately needing.
We finally got that shots on net a little bit. 9 shots on frame out of the 24. Would have liked to kind of see a couple more just for the percentage-wise, but regardless, still a really good showing. Started out really solid in the first half. 3 goals. We fell to Northwood at first, and with them scoring to open up the whole game, but Northwood is really good in the GMAC. They're 6-2-3 so far. I think 5-0 in the GMAC. We're a little bit less than them, but still, it was really good to kind of get a bounce back game, I'd say, after tying Saginaw, because we've tied Saginaw 3 out of the last 4 times.
Seems
or
like
something
it.
like that. It was still 0-0 last year in the playoffs, and then we lost in penalty kicks. So I guess you could still say it was a tie game, but to be able to kind of come out and play really well and kind of take that abilities to be able to get the ball in the net and get shots on frame was really important, especially seeing that we just were literally in control the whole game.
Yeah.
And then one good thing about it, too, is just even when we did get scored on, the offense didn't really hold up or anything. We didn't kind of, shell back at all. We really kind of took it right back to them. I don't think that's what they were ready for. And, testing their goalkeeper a lot is kind of what's going to be able to get us some really good opportunities, especially get that moving around a lot. We had some really well-placed shots. She did save a couple that were pretty well done. I think her name is Andrea Everett. She had some really good saves, but, just a couple that we were able to squeak by was pretty good. Yeah,
Northwood's a very good team. I mean, they came out really aggressive, and they were able to score.
Last year too.
Yeah, and they scored in the first 4 minutes of this game, but, I mean, really the resilience and I think the biggest thing was just keeping the pedal down was absolutely huge when we finally found the net, when Brindley scored 25 minutes, and then right within literally a minute and a second, Izzy found the net from Jessie Bandick. So, and then it was the Peyton Price show offensively from there on out. She ended up scoring the next 2 goals with assists going all the way around to a lot of the Bulldogs. So, I mean, it was really a good performance coming off of that rough second half of Saginaw. Like I said, it was a good half. It just felt rough because just some things weren't working. And that's really the crazy thing just about college athletics as a whole is it might look pretty, but it's just not working. And that's what we've seen a lot from this team offensively. I mean, we've talked about it quite a few bit. The attacking third. It's been the focus. And this was really a game that I think really showed that. And I don't think it necessarily was from just the shots. I mean, we had 24 shots in this game, which were huge. But I mean, from what at least I saw popping on the game on Flow TV for a little bit, the possession of this game was huge for this offense. Getting it into the Northwood half and keeping it constantly. It's not just all through balls. We're working the ball in through triangles in the middle of the field, getting it back outside, getting crosses in the box, making another pass, getting a good look. There was so many times where this offense was clicking as far as not only just getting shots on frame, but setting up good shots to go on frame. That was a huge bonus to this game. We ended up being able to win off of that, and I mean, really, it was a huge momentum booster now going into a weekend now where the offense is going to be feeling a lot more confident, especially against 2 teams we've already beaten. No, we can't beat.
Yeah, and especially with the 2 teams that are going to be coming up. They're usually the teams that we can put a lot of goals on, and we didn't really have that much success with them when they were at home. So hopefully when we get on the road, we'll talk a little bit more about that Thursday, but hopefully the goal scoring keep on going. What should we talk about next, Brandon? Football?
Yeah, let's go on over to the Gridiron over in Findlay. And it was what we expected. A really good win for this football team. 38-7 was the final in this one. We saw a lot of great things. I mean, we just played really solid all the way around. It's hard to find things to talk about this team because they do everything that we want them to do. I'm sorry if you heard me laughing, but I was tweeting this game. And Findlay's announcer was just, once they got down by like 3 scores or something, like they haven't even scored. It was like 30, what was it? It wasn't 38-0. I think it was before we finished. It was 31-0. Yeah, and before the half, yep. Literally every time like Findlay would have something bad, he would just like not trash Ferris, but he would be like Sydney kind of was jarring at a guy for like holding him down. He was like, I think they're letting Sydney talk a little bit too much. They should probably throw a flag. And then he just like, yeah, see, that's just not a good play by Ferris State. And like he was like kind of like trying to like do backhand stuff because he was just getting sick of losing. And I was dying laughing the whole time. It was the funniest thing. One word. Scoreboard. That is true. I think you're just sad because they were so good last year, and then now they're like 1-4. No, they are not a good football team this year, and it's okay. Really what? I'm sorry, they were one. It's just funny because I was just like they just weren't as good as last year. And you're just like, yeah, they're just not a good football team. They're not. This is Findlay's. That's true. I mean, they're not super great. No, yeah, Findlay's expectations of a football team. This is not what their fans want. They don't want a 1-4 football team. They want a team that's contending for the postseason. At least we found a field that's worse than Top Taggart. That is, yeah, Findlay shares it with a high school field. Yeah, with a high school field. That's not good. So, be that as it may. Business trip. Did it, done it, gone. Somebody's got to lose, and it's sure not going to be us. I heard that so many times over the last 3-4 weeks that we've seen those recap videos from the players. It's a pretty
sick line.
One
to say,
team
though.
ain't
I'm not
going.
lie.
One team gonna lose, and it ain't gonna be us.
I
I
know,
guarantee that, and they're living up
pretty
to
hype,
it right
yeah.
now.
It was really good to see. Carson kind of kept it up, especially with that 3-yard run. Then I think he got, a 54-yard run as well?
54-yard TD broke out. That was huge.
Which was pretty sick. Tyrese got 2 touchdowns as well. We had a really cool kind of double pass, and Childress kind of did really well with that. Came down with it. It wasn't like the hardest catch to make, but it was still a cool one. Kind of wish it was a little bit
spin,
more.
yeah.
A little bit more on the money would have been cooler. Tyrese Moss, the guy, which was pretty sick.
Yes.
I liked my tweet on that one. It was
Yeah.
just nice and simple. Get Moss.
Get Moss.
Yeah.
Yes, that was a great one.
I felt like that was testing the boundaries enough for him. So.
Just a little bit. Just pushing the. You're not like.
I'm still waiting. I'm
You're
still
not
waiting on
crossing
the.
the
I'm
line.
still waiting on
You're
the
just
go
towing
ahead.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
still waiting on the go ahead to just get free reign for the Twitter. But I could, because here's the thing: if I'm running the Twitter, I'm half the time I'll say stuff about like the game, but I'll just do stuff that I see from the press box, like, hey, our t-shirt can is gonna kill a small child one of these times. Somebody's gonna accidentally shoot it off. That thing's probably got way too much PSI. That thing's shooting out like 70 miles an hour. That's gonna dome a child in the noggin.
Oh my god.
Do you think a baby with a small soft part in their head, a t-shirt going at 60 miles an hour, that baby's gone.
No.
That baby's dead. And who's allowing the liability? Whoever tossed the pressure up in our t-shirt can.
Yeah.
I just want to tweet funny stuff that I see.
Yeah. I guess.
Ain't nothing to it.
Yeah, I guess so. I think maybe we'll start a trend here. Give
Like
Joe
one time
full
I
reign.
saw a ref with his shirt untucked. It was kind of funny. I would have said something, but I couldn't because I don't got free reign of the Twitter.
It is true.
Harrison, I know you're listening.
He's
Let me do
listening
it.
out there. We'll get a text later probably, but no.
Mhm.
I mean, dominance all the way around for this Findlay game. I mean, we just played phenomenal football. I mean, 458 yards of offense.
Held them to less than 100 yards total offense up until the fourth quarter.
Yep, and I mean, that was really when we put in third and fourth string. So those guys are all young, getting their opportunities. But, I mean, big games on the ground for sure. I mean, Carson Golker was fantastic. Shout out to him for jumping on the pod last week. You can check out that episode.
I think it's just the pod effect, really.
Is
When
it
people
really?
just got good
Okay.
games. Expect Izzy to have at least like
7 goals.
4 goals
next
this
game.
weekend.
Yeah, who knows? But definitely getting better at third down. Love to see that, keeping drives alive. And I think that's going to be huge, especially because our defense is fantastic. But when we get into a position where we can score, even if they're being back for a little bit, that's going to make us even more deadly. And that's really what can make us into a huge threat when it comes later in the season. So I think overall, like, this was just a fantastic game. And I think it wasn't it wasn't a blowout. It wasn't Waldorf.
I'll also say,
but going on the road, getting a big win.
I will also say this is Findlay's punter had a legit 15-yard punt. Like, he just kicked it straight up in the air. And that thing went like maybe 15 yards.
I don't remember seeing that, but
it was their first punt. He was back in the end zone, and that thing maybe got past the 15.
Wow.
Like, maybe.
You have one job.
I was like, how do you punt and not get to at least like the 40? But that thing, like, they took over, and I was just like, how are they like in the red zone already?
Mm-hmm. That's just
hate to see it for that guy.
Hate to see it. So 2 sacks for Murph, Mr. Defense, adding to his total. He might be record chasing. We'll see by the end of this year for sure. So 2 tackles for loss, 7 tackles for him, as well as Jamil Thomas adding 7 tackles as well. Connor Neer also added a sack, and I believe Vincent Cooley with another interception. I believe that's now 3 or 4 he's had on the year. That man's been a monster. Getting some interceptions there, and as well as Jarvis Alexander got one as well on the defense. So, I mean, huge. Getting turnovers, keeping the ball rolling. It's just hard to find knocks on this team. I mean, obviously, like, keep the penalties down. I mean, 83 yards on penalties is not, or 73 yards on 8 penalties is not pretty. Still had a fumble, but still, I mean, this defense locked down, and it's gonna be really well needed, especially with these next 2 games we got on deck.
Yep, it's gonna be tough. Saginaw is probably going to be a little bit more vengeance. They lost to Grand Valley over the weekend, which was kind of a tough loss for them. They were in the lead at the first part of the game, which was really great to see. But I think, especially just being at Lubbers, kind of took a little bit of not a toll, but probably played a big part of that loss, I'd say, because Saginaw was like a really efficient offense, and they just did not look that at all. And I don't really think Grand Valley's defense is like that crazy to be able to hold them that much. I think it's just a little bit of both. Grand Valley just played well in that, and Saginaw didn't play super hot, but I'm really excited for this one. Saginaw's going to be a good game. We're traveling there, and then we're going to be welcoming Grand Valley to the Anchor Bone Classic.
Buckle up.
First time at Ferris since 2019.
Yeah.
Since our freshman year.
Yeah, and it might be a 1-2 matchup at this rate.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it will. If we win next week, it's going to be 1-2.
Yeah. Buckle your seatbelts. That's all I got to say. This is going to be a heck of a football game. Let me tell you what. So that's going to be fun. They'll obviously take on Saginaw first, and I believe Grand Valley has – do they play or do they have a bye this week? I almost want to say they have a weird schedule this year.
They have.
Or they might have a midweek.
They play this weekend, but you want to hear the scores from this weekend first?
Yeah.
This past weekend.
The scoreboard?
Mm-hmm. Michigan Tech took on Davenport in Grand Rapids, lost 52-38 in favor of the Panthers on that one. Northern Michigan took on Wayne State, welcoming them up into the Superdome. Isn't that what they called?
Superior Dome?
Superior Dome. That's what it is.
That one.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Just lost the IOR. 37-30. Pretty close one for them.
Ooh.
And then Grand Valley obviously topping Saginaw Valley 29-10 in the Battle of the Valleys. I'm pretty sure Saginaw won the fundraising battle, though. So there's that.
Interesting. A win for both sides, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess so.
Huh.
Win for charity and a win for football.
There you go. So, anyway, onto the ice. It's back, ladies and gentlemen. Hockey
Huge for the program.
returns. So, going down to Miami of Ohio. Got a split over the weekend. Pulled out a, as quoted on the press release, dramatic shootout win at Miami. I watched the tail end of that game, and man, it looked like we were going to pull it out there. We were up 2-1 with an early goal in the third period. And I mean, it was just absolutely huge. As Jacob Dirks, it was like the perfect scenario. Threw it on top of the crease. Dirks was there to punch it home, and it looked like we were smooth sailing the rest of the way. And he just let up a goal in the last 54 seconds. Unfortunate for that defense, but they ended up getting the win in the shootout. Stole an extra point. I mean, Miami came out with a vengeance in the first period in that Sunday game. They ended up getting the lead. We ended up pacing them the rest of the way through, but just couldn't keep up. So they took the victory there. But I mean, got the rust off, right? That's what we always think of these first games, non-conference. So
everybody wants to start out 2-0 to start the season.
Yeah, for sure.
I think especially with the tough test that's going to be coming up this weekend. Of course, I mean we're going to talk about it Thursday, but with Michigan Tech coming to town and Western, there are two teams that lost a lot of their seniors, so it's going to be kind of a fresh start for them. But as Miami team, they got. I think, do they have the Savage brothers, or is it just one of the Savage brothers?
Red Savage was there.
Yeah, Red Savage.
One of the best names in college hockey,
dude,
arguably.
That is such a sick name.
Red
it's not
Savage.
Even funny. That's so cool. I think he's like being scouted by the Red Wings too, isn't he?
Is he?
He's like on the scout for one of the NHL teams.
I'll buy that jersey.
Regardless, I think especially seeing after that 2-2 tie and especially winning in the shootout, I think if we won that one straight up, I feel like it probably would have been a little bit different. We would have had that momentum, but it's just Miami came out a little bit harder in that second game, and that's the only thing that was the difference. But I think it's not jump ship just yet. I think people are going to be saying like, oh, Ferris State Bulldogs. We always say that we're gonna get improved for hockey, and then we just don't. So I think, especially probably next week and the week after, is going to be a pretty solid telltale of how the season's going to go, and I think it's going to go pretty well. I think especially with Glavin being the way it is, I think a lot of the students know that like we're going to be a little bit better this year. We had a lot more hope than we did 2 years ago compared to last year, having 11 more wins, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We were a good team. And I think especially for this year, we're going to pretty much show it. But this first games are always kind of the toughest ones to judge because, you're knocking the rust off. It's not always the best gauge of how well the team's going to do this season. Because last year, we split with them again? Last year we split with Miami? Right?
I want to say yes. I think if I remember correctly last year, that was Pokey's OT winner was the Miami game.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think we got a split there.
So I think we'll probably do pretty solid.
Yeah, I think
not that big a deal.
You look at what a lot of the team did, and I mean, Miami came out with an intention of putting a lot of shots on the pipe. So, and you definitely saw that throughout both of these games, especially in the first game, 35-21. I think was the shots on target in that Saturday night opener. But I think our penalty kill did a great 0 for 4, and we were put in a lot of tough spots. But
Stein had a great performance too.
Stein was fantastic, 33 saves, and that got him, I believe, GLIAC goaltender of the week. So shout out to him. And then I think really we started getting a little more aggressive on Saturday, but and I think really like the hardest part really was we had a lot of chances. Miami had 8 infractions. We had 6 power plays, and we only got 1 goal. That was really one of the biggest differences. We had chances. They did a really good job on the kill. It almost looked like it was kind of just flipped the script. But I think the pace that this team is playing and just the overall style is a little bit of an adjustment. So I don't think we're going to be high flying as much anymore. We're going to be a lot more. I want to say strategic because that's not really the right word, but I wouldn't want to say stagnant either. It's kind of like in between where it's just smooth rhythm. It's not going to be high flying, dump, chase, flip, go, shot kind of a deal because we saw a lot of that last year. And obviously that goes with the game plan definitely in the position we're in the game. But I think we're going to see a lot more methodical, a lot more setup plays, even on 5-on-5, because we did a really good job, especially on the attack when we had numbers on penalties. But I mean, we still need some work to do, and obviously now team knows what they got to do, and we're going to hopefully see all those adjustments this weekend, and we get 2 wins at Engelgleben against 2 top teams. That would be the sweet.
I'll tell you what, CCHA looks to be wide open. After the first week, you're kind of seeing some upsets, some teams that didn't play super hot. Minnesota State didn't play super well against University of Nebraska Omaha, 7-2 loss.
Yeah,
which was kind of a surprising one, especially seeing that they made the national championship game last year. St. Thomas might make some noise. I don't think a crazy amount, but they did only lose to St. Cloud, who was a playoff team, I'm pretty sure, last year, 3-1. They were ranked for a good amount of last year. I know that. And then, I mean, Northern 6-4 on Saturday, right? Yeah, 6-4 on Saturday. They lost to Bowling Green. And, I mean, Michigan Tech, they are kind of taking care of business. So I don't really worry about them, I'm not going to lie.
I think you're going to see Tech take
Michigan
a step up.
Yeah, I was going to say, Michigan Tech's probably going to, my early predictions for this season, Michigan Tech's probably going to win the CCHA. You could see Ferris kind of make a push for 4th, I'd say. And then I think you're going to see Minnesota State drop to like 3, I think.
Nah, we're winning the whole thing, brother.
Okay,
we're winning the whole
thing.
thing.
Let's be realistic.
No. We got to see the improvement for sure.
I think Lake State is going to make a little bit of noise too.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of shakeups in this conference
this year. The ceiling
is
extremely high for us this year.
I think so.
The floor, I mean, it's the floor last year and it's the floor the year before.
Yeah.
But the ceiling, we got a lot of potential.
I think that's true. I mean, we did lose some key guys last year, senior-wise, but I think we got in a lot of veteran leadership, especially in the transfer portal, which was huge.
Yeah, it was big time.
A lot of these younger guys, especially on the defense lines, have gotten a lot more experience. So I think they're going to be more geared up this season than they were last year, and especially during the COVID year. That's kind of when we got exposed a little bit defensively, but now we're kind of locking it in, and I think we can make some noise. So going to be fun this weekend. Friday, we have Tech at home, 7:07, as well as Western on Saturday at 7:07. You can find out all those tickets and more at ferrisstatebulldogs.com. Anyway, over now to volleyball. Big wins.
Huge.
I almost got my prediction right, Joe.
You were just
so
off,
close.
Man.
I was so close.
Almost had the clean 6-0 sweep, but
yeah,
3-1 and 3-1. I'll tell you what.
Still good. Still good volleyball.
I love watching volleyball. Don't get me wrong. It's honestly one of my favorite things, like one of my favorite sports to watch and work for athletics. But it's a little bit of a tough one when they don't go 3-0 because I'm sitting in a hard chair with no leg room. I don't know. We need to get better seats a little bit, at least for front row of those like stadium chair ones in Link Arena. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got my knees on like a grate, and I got like they look like waffles at the end because I got my knee pressed up in them and I can't get them out. So.
Yeah, that is true. I wish
gosh, 2 pretty good games.
They were 2 pretty good games. I think there was a lot that you could look from this game. I would have loved to have called these games because these sounded like they were very, very intense. Yeah, it's the word that comes to mind. But it was still a fantastic, and we'll talk about the reason I wasn't there here in just a minute. But definitely saw a lot of good things. I mean, especially over this period. Especially against the Northern game, we went to 4 sets and only had 9 errors. That's pretty huge. That's huge. Like that is a big step forward. And Northern's a pretty good team. So I think you look at where that was in that scenario of GLIAC championship, theoretically, at where we are right now in the standings, is these 2, right? Mm-hmm. Top 2 teams, Ferris and Northern. This is the battle for the top spot. Both teams 6-1 coming in the conference. Then you make a statement at home after beating them on the road. That's a huge momentum boost. And even though we started out a little slow that first set, they were really tight sets, but slamming the door in that 4th set they were lights out. Not a single error, 13 kills on 28 attempts. That's almost a 500 hit percentage. 500. You don't hear that number very often, and that's why I wish I would have loved to see that. I'm going to have to rewatch that just to see that moment. But Claire Nowicki, Cyan Fairfield, fantastic, as well. Emma Bleacher leading in the points categories. Kaylee Matt was awesome as always. Setter of the week honors. Again, good things coming threes, I guess, for the all GLIAC setter, so congrats to her as well. And, I mean, really just carry that over against a really good Tech team and really just slammed the door. I mean, we didn't play as well as we did against Northern.
I will say this.
But we still just took care of business.
We won the fourth one mainly due because Olivia just slammed the door.
Yeah.
She
was great that
every
game.
time that she had a chance to get a kill, it's like she just hit that thing and crit. She smoked a girl in the dome. I'm not even going to lie.
Really?
She smoked her right in the
missed
face.
That. Yikes.
I felt bad for laughing, but I did.
Oh,
but that
man.
thing had to have been going like the sound that it made when she hit the ball was huge, and then when it hit her face, it was even like basically the same like sound.
Unfortunate.
It kind of set the tone. I'm not gonna lie. It set the tone for the fourth set. It was pretty. I mean, it was a sick thing because that cousin was when the momentum switched. You know.
Yeah, that's the sound that it made. I can't imagine that, but yeah, I mean, it was great. We started off slower, came out a little sluggish in that first set, but I mean, from
it was
there,
weird. It was like a complete
offense.
switch. Like first set for that one was like not the greatest showing, and then it was just like I don't know what it was, but it literally was like Michigan Tech just took all of our bad plays from the first one and just did the same thing the second game.
Yeah.
And then we won 25-13 second set, and then we just kept on rolling.
Yeah, just keeping the ability to take defense to offense, being efficient, playing clean, no errors, and the firepower of this team could take care of itself. We're seeing that all season long, and I think that's going to be a huge emphasis for this team moving forward. So, and we got a couple good ones on deck for this team coming up. So we're going to really see what they're made of on the road. 3 straight home games, and then we're going into a tournament for the Midwest region crossover in Hammond, Indiana. But then we got Northwood, Purdue Northwest, and then our friends from Allendale.
GV, baby.
So that's going to be coming up this weekend. So Northwood will have played or it'll be technically yesterday when this episode comes out. It's at 7 o'clock on Tuesday the 4th, so we'll give you all that highlights and recap with a preview coming up on Friday's episode. So we'll get you all that information there. So big homestand will be on deck after these slates of afternoon games, and your boy will be finally back on the mic to give you the action. I'm really looking forward to getting that back again, so it's going to be fun. Mic. So I really look forward to calling those volleyball games for how great our team is, how electric the atmosphere can be. I mean, we're in Wink Arena, and it's still bumping. I mean, some of these regular season, just regular GLIAC games, so when you got to bet October 28th, it's going to be bumping 5 o'clock. Our friends from Allendale coming up north, so I think that's going to be a fantastic game. And then we'll obviously have Saginaw and Davenport, as well as Wayne, who's a good team as well, October 20th on Thursday. On that game will be coming up later. So going to be a lot of good matchups here for volleyball, and we hope to see them keep the momentum rolling. One game at a time, Joe, right?
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
One game at a time.
So anyway, moving on over into the back half here of the Ferris State Sports Review. Cross country was in action over the weekend and absolutely crushed it. I can say that personally with bias because I witnessed it. A lot of great performances at Lansing, PRs for a lot of the young guys. Super cool to see all those results come in on the bus ride down. It was really a really great, promising, just a pure joy for those guys because they've put in the work. Your first month of getting on the grass and really putting a hammer down on college racing is a really hard adjustment. I went through it myself. I know everybody in my class and all the people before have done it, and it's a tough thing to do. So I really give them credit. Now they're seeing the fruition of coming off of that hard work because this is one of the best hard-working teams that we've had in a long time, and that showed especially over the weekend for sure. But some great standout performances at Lansing for sure, and as well as on the women's side as well. They had a lot of great performances all the way around. Jackson Helmer led with a 27:09 8K time For the men's side as well as the women's side was Abby Winkle with a 2017 on the 5K. And you can find all those results online for sure, as well as the Louisville results. And those were, oh my gosh, dude, I can't even describe to you how fun that was. Going back to Louisville and being able to run fast. First time I've ran it healthy since freshman year. So it really went well all the way around for a lot of these guys. We had a goal to get it. I think it was at least, I want to say we wanted to get at least 4 or 5 guys under 26, and we pretty much got almost 7 under 26 minutes. And that's one of the first times the program has done that on the men's side, I believe since 2012, 10 years. It's one of the best performances we've had in a decade. So super proud of that. Super proud of the guys for sure. Donis Harris put down a blazing time, it was registered at 25:04. I didn't know if it was 25:03 or 25:04. It's 25:04 technically, obviously, with the chip timing and all that. Noah Griffith, 25:23. Myself coming in at 25:44, as well as Nate Alford, Dan Hardesty, Brennan Kearney at 25:54, 56:56 respectively, as well as Keith Wilson, also named Kevin Wilson, 26:17, as well as Casey Bowman at 26:19, and Ryan Osaski in his first race in the Kentucky Bluegrass at 27:02. So a lot of great things on the men's side. The women's side as well did fantastic as well. Definitely a really fast race for them as well. All the way across the board. I mean, it was just blazing over the week. It really just was so fast, and you got to see a lot of the gold races and the silver races. Some guys still hammering down some fast times. So that was really cool to see. Whitney Farrell paced the women's side, 18:44. Danae Feldspach, 18:52 in second, followed by Milena Strauss in 19:01 and Sydney Kubiak in 19:02 respectively. And railing out, I believe, the top 5. I might have missed one here when I looked back at the results here, but I believe it would have been it had to have been, I don't know why it's not showing up here for a second, but Mara Sweeney, there it is, 1943. I scrolled over it the first time I saw it. And then Daisy England at 19:45, and then followed up with a time of 2013 was Diana Candela, and Emily Pluff with 2013. And Jessica Durkee with a 2021, wrapping out the Bulldogs, finishing at the Louisville Blue 5K women's race. That is a mouthful. So there you go. There's all the times that I just rattled off, and I'm not gonna lie, my mouth's a little dry now, so we might have to get to a break earlier than expected. But
no problem.
It was fast. That's all you can say. It was what we looked forward to.
Weekend is what we like to see.
No, it was great. So I know there's a lot of great things accomplished from both groups in this race, and finished well team-wise as well. I think we were 16th out of almost 50 teams, as well as the women's, who I think were, I believe, 11th or 12th out of, I want to say, about 40 teams. So that's impressive. I mean, just going off of that alone, what just shows you how great both of these teams are and how much they put in the work. And I mean, now it's on to Lewis and keeping on moving. That's all you can say. So anyway, finishing up Ferris State Sports Report. Shout out to golf for a great performance over the weekend. The women's, I believe, finished 6th at the Bing Bial Fall Classic. That's a mouthful as well. A lot of tough titles here, not going to lie, here for this Ferris State Sports Report. But definitely good results there. We saw a lot of great golf on display over at Findlay for sure. Dana Stowski stepped up once again. Elena Delarose as well. I believe we're 21st in the field. And then followed by Lizzie Anderson, Elena Eldred, and Cameron Shannon with 160, 161, and 166 respectively in the 2-day scores. And I mean, really just saw a lot of great things from this team as well. I mean, we're only trailing, I believe, Grand Valley as far as GLIAC teams in this field, which then again, they're the ones we're chasing here. So, but we beat Saginaw, we beat Wayne State, a lot of these other GLIAC competitors. So that brings a lot of confidence for your team moving forward, especially even with a lot of the shakeups in standings. Like, I mean, your number 2 taking the number 1 spot, 4 taking the number 3. That just shows they got a lot of depth coming in on this team this year.
Yeah, for sure, and especially seeing that, it's fall season. It's kind of a little bit of a preseason now. You're just kind of, making sure that you're gonna go into the off season prepared. Right, and especially seeing that, you only are trailing only one GLIAC team, that can really give you some promise, especially seeing that, it's going to, everybody, especially in the GLIAC, has the same offseason. It's going to be wintry, it's going to be cold, you can't get on the course, you have to be indoors. And I think especially knowing that, like, you're playing really solid and the work has been paying off. And, it's, especially what we have at Ferris, one of the best, facilities in the country, at our level. And I wouldn't even say it rivals a lot of D1 programs. I mean, not a lot of programs have what we have. So when you have kind of that much confidence, especially seeing that you're nearing the fall season, as well as what you have to do for the off season, as well as you have the facilities that can help you get better throughout the off season. I think that's a big thing, especially going into this next last week of competition. They still got they got the Bingville Fall Classic and they got the Panther Fall. So
yeah, exactly. And they're going to be finishing up their round as we're recording Tuesday, so we'll get you that results for sure on Thursday's recording, Friday's show, as well as the men who are also competing in day 2 as well today. Right now they're sitting at 6th. Over at the Mohawk Golf and Country Club at Tiffin. They're sitting in 6th right now, and only, I believe, 8 shots out of the top 3 podium spot, and even 9 from second, who is Wayne State, by the way, so there's a good target for you to shoot for, and Wayne hasn't shot very well here in round 3, so the Bulldogs might be able to make a run there, so we'll see how that finishes out, and hopefully these teams can really dial it down in round 3, build up the scoreboard like we always try to do and improve over these rounds, and really see some good golf here moving forward into the winter training.
It's going to be sick.
Going to be sick for sure. But that's all the Ferris State Sports Review we got for you. I know it's a little longer than usual, but we'll take a quick break. When we come back, a little bit of college football, and Joe wants to talk some pool. We'll get into that and more right after this. The MBSP is proud to partner with the people of Eagle Village Incorporated. Over 50 years of experience helping and changing the lives of youth. There are opportunities for you to be the next to make a direct impact, including plenty of positions available, including summer staff, internships, and more. For more information, visit eaglevillage.org. Eagle Village, where potential soars.
And we're back from the break. Gonna hop into some college football. Brandon, some good games over the weekend, some pretty good ones, and as well as some coaching mishaps, some realignments, whoever want to talk about it. But we're gonna hop into the first big game of the week. Was a pretty good one, a pretty well anticipated one. NC State versus Clemson, 20-30. Clemson took it. Some big stuff on the line for NC State. If they won that game, they would have probably cracked the top 5. But they just couldn't get it done. And Clemson was able to not run away with it, but able to get away with the victory.
Yeah, and this was a well-needed game for Clemson. They actually showed out in a way that we expected them to, and not maybe as we expected to, if that makes sense. But what I mean is we usually see Clemson as a high-powered offense. We usually see them as a team that has a lot of playmaking, a lot of speed. But they kind of really roughed up NC State physically. Like, they really held him on the ground. I think 42 yards rushing total. Devin Leary was rushed on a lot of his passes. He only had a 59% completion percentage. Some of the receivers made plays, but I mean, DJ Ugalele looked really good as well on the ground and in the air. He ended up, I think, having 21 completions, 14 carries, total, I think, if I did my math correctly, 282 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was good. He was what we expected him to be in this big game, as well as Will Shipley was very efficient at times on the ground as well. And they just really paced the game. I mean, they started with the field goal. I mean, NC State was doing a really good job of matching, but that second quarter, I think with that touchdown right before the half and right out of the half, that's what you queue up for your team with the lead. You take it into halftime, you get that big score when Ugalele scored from 1 yard out, and then that big pass to get down the sideline, and then you end up scoring from there. I think that was absolutely huge to get it a 20-10 game. And, I mean, NC State did a great job of matching. It was just that halftime, Clemson was able to punch it in with execution before and after. That was the difference in the game. Yeah,
that's true. And I think Ugalele played pretty solid. I mean, he didn't have the most yards, only 200. Usually he kind of hovers around the 250 area. But 21 for 30 and a TD is nothing to shake a stick at. And especially with him also having 14 carries for 73 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, that's one of his better games that he's had so far this season. Just not in the air, but on the ground, he had a pretty good one. He made the right decisions. But I thought, especially going into this game, NC State just had a big, task ahead of them.
Yeah.
Going into Clemson, playing in Death Valley is not the easiest thing.
No.
And I think, especially with kind of what was at stake for them, kind of making school history with that, because when the last time they make the top 5? Like
a long time.
1960s or something like that. Something crazy. But I think for them, it just kind of seemed like not that the lights got too bright for them, but I think they just, like, a lot of people realize that Clemson is, like, not the team they once were, but they have definitely not fallen off. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people were thinking was that NC State was going to go into it and Clemson was a little overrated. But I think Clemson really showed their stakes here.
Yeah, I think so, too. We saw a good football team finally for the last couple of years, but they were not to the standard of what we were used to. College football, playoff contender, playoff maker, all of that sort of stuff. But over the last couple of years, they just really kind of crapped the bed a little bit. So being able to see them now at 5-0 and making a move north is really good for that program. And Dabo Swinney, especially now that you gave him that big extension to win these type of games. So that was definitely good. But, I mean, I think one of the biggest noise, Missouri, really shaking up Georgia and knocking them out of the number 1 spot. They didn't beat them necessarily. Georgia to come back with a huge second half comeback to beat the Tigers. But it was enough that they showed Georgia has flaws. And Missouri really, really got to them a little bit. And now it's Alabama at the top instead of Georgia.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Not going to lie. Because I thought Georgia was like a pretty sold, like, what they showed so
were,
far
yeah.
was,
In
like,
these first couple of games, they were.
Sold number 1.
Yeah. But, I mean, they were controlling the tempo, especially that first half. They were really dicing them up a little bit. So,
but try as you might, Alabama will always find a way to be number 1.
That is true. So, unfortunate for Georgia, but, I mean, Stenson Bennett showed up in that second half for sure. But, I mean, it was really just so interesting how Missouri was just controlling that game in the first half, and they were just hanging around. And
I think I was looking at FanDuel, my roommate, because he was going to place a bet on this game, and it was like Missouri to win this game was like plus 30,000 or something like that. Just like a crazy mismatch. So if you put like $20 on this game and cashed out early, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Good for you.
You know more than we do.
Georgia just kind of, especially that last second, I would have loved to kind of see an upset, just see Missouri, I always forget that they're an SEC school, to be honest. Yeah. But, just for them to kind of not put themselves on the map, but just to be like, hey, we're still here. Like, we'll still be able to squeak out a few wins here and there. But, Georgia, especially this game, it kind of makes it so that it makes it look so a team that looked like they had no vulnerabilities has a lot that they got to work on.
Yeah, for sure. So some other notable games there. Washington falling to UCLA. The Bruins now 5-0, taking down the Husky team that took down Michigan State in their start of their slide, which is continuing to slide. I know we had that argument on the last show, and I think Joey called it. They looked bad, and they lost. That's a fact. So that program does not look like they're in great shape right now.
You talking about Wisconsin?
Huh? No, Michigan State.
Oh, Michigan State, yeah.
Wisconsin's in more shambles.
Sorry,
though.
I was looking at the UCLA game. But yeah, Wisconsin is in shambles. But Michigan State, man, hey, all you people that say Mel Tucker's got Jim Harbaugh's number, he must have got a new phone because he does not look like he's going to be able to do
careful. We still got a couple weeks
Okay,
here.
Well,
this is
you don't have Kenneth Walker to bail you out. So
this is a typical Michigan State thing,
How are you going You don't have Kenneth Walker to bail you out this time. Who are you going to rely on?
They're just going to
Peyton Thorne.
They're just tanking these games so they can somehow beat Michigan and then call us little brother again, even though we're going to win 4 more games than them this year.
Peyton Thorne is not a good quarterback. You expect him to lead you to anything? No,
he's not looking good. I can tell you that. So I don't know. They might need a quarterback change, to be honest. Especially, but do you make it this week against the Buckeyes?
Well, who are you gonna toss in for your quarterback after that? You're gonna toss in their backup. Who is even their backup? Noah Kim.
Do you try it?
Our backup Cade is better than their top 2. David Orgy's better than their top 2.
Yeah. David Orgy's good, dude. He's going to be really good. I don't know. This is just a tough situation for Michigan State because they look so high-powered.
Mel Tucker came into a program where he was lucky that he had Kenneth Walker there. And then everybody's like, Mel Tucker is like this great coach. Like, he's like actually legit. And then it's like, well, when you realize that he doesn't have his recruiting abilities, I feel like is not as good as what Jim Harbaugh has to be able to get like blue chip recruits.
Oh, yeah, I could probably understand that. I would say I could say that's accurate, yeah. But I think it's tough for them.
I feel like
just
the depth
because
is not there.
No, I don't think the depth is there. And I mean, especially getting guys banged up has really hurt that team, especially now in these last couple of weeks. They got diced up in Maryland at home against Minnesota. Now they're taking on Ohio State, so they're looking at a potential 2-4 start to the season. They'll probably get back on track with Wisconsin, who now is with an interim head coach. Paul Chris finally got fired after losing in dominant fashion to Illinois Fighting Illini. Boy, that's a rough down low for that Wisconsin team. But I did say that Wisconsin fans need to chill out, and I guess now they finally got their wake-up call that they are not as good as they say they are. But then it's all slated for October 29th, Michigan against Michigan State in Ann Arbor. Going to be a fun football game for sure. Can't wait to see that. Tickets are as low as $210 according to ESPN right now. So you might need to fork up a little bit of your tuition money to go to that game if you're interested. Maybe I'll do that.
Hopefully you got a full ride so you can afford it.
Yeah, that is true. It's a tough one, but
Ohio State's going to win that one by a lot, most likely.
I think so too, man.
Crap ton.
CJ Stroud and company looked really good against Rutgers, and they continue to roll throughout this so far this season. But Oklahoma falling to TCU, another notable one. TCU's really showed a little bit of Oklahoma's flaws defensively. They're going to have to figure something out. Ole Miss taking down Kentucky in a more defensive-fronted football game. Ole Miss now seeing dimensions.
I'm just going to toss it out. Who tossed out the Kansas should be in the top 20?
You
tossed
did.
It out?
You did.
And what's their rank, Brandon?
I didn't look it up.
What's their?
Tell me it's 19.
Look it up.
Tell me it's 19.
It is 19.
There you go.
You know what I said? They're not at 15, 14.
Yeah.
But 19 and 20. Absolutely.
Correct.
Look where they're at.
Correct.
19.
Wait. I said last week. Now after this week, yeah, they are.
Yeah, you said no. You said no. I said
last
put
week.
them in the top 25.
Did you see who they played the first couple weeks, Joe?
Doesn't matter. I knew what they had in them.
Tennessee Tech.
They're them dogs.
They
dude.
beat West Virginia.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk is all I'm gonna say.
You are crazy. Tennessee Tech.
Put Kansas in the top 15 now.
Okay, now you're just rubbing the dirt in. But
Kansas has turned around.
They played
good.
Tennessee Tech.
They're gonna roll
that
TCU.
Game didn't matter. They would be a decent West Virginia team, not a very good team. They beat a Houston.
You're telling me JT Daniels isn't going to win the Heisman this year?
Absolutely not. Have you seen how the way he's played so far? Absolutely not.
He's played for 17
and then they beat
colleges.
Duke, who is a decent team, and then they beat Ohio State, who is a pretty solid
Iowa
team.
State.
But they showed that they
State's
played defense in this game, which that now gives me this ain't their top 25 team.
They're going to take on TCU.
Yeah.
Going to beat them, move to the top 15. Going to play Oklahoma, beat them, move to the top 10. Play Baylor. Probably stay in the top 10. I don't think we beat Baylor.
Okay.
Top 5 most likely. But hey, if they keep on rolling, Oklahoma State versus Kansas is going to be a good game.
Hey, you never know at this point. So it's college game day going to Lawrence. Oh boy,
that's huge.
That's going to be fun for the program.
Duke game, but what is it? The first time they're going to Lawrence in I think it's ever. Right?
Yeah, I think it's ever. Maybe. I'm not quite sure. I think it is first time ever, though. But it should be interesting. That's going to be a game we're going to be sure to watch. And be sure you go watch YouTube. Just put up the best clip of that argument, ironically, Joe. So that's available on YouTube for all that are wondering what we're talking about. Just go over to YouTube, find our MVSP Best Bits, and you'll see the conversation that we were having and the crazy talk Joe is bringing on that now he can actually back up because they won a football game. So
they did.
So that is true. They did win some. I'll give you that credit. So Kansas 5-0, and they got college game day. I think a lot of things rolling for Rock Hawk Jayhawk. But anyway, finishing out the show, Joe wants to talk some billiards here in his undercovered sports list. And this is going to be a fun one because I don't think you really have much professional coverage for
really
professional
don't.
billiards. But
back in the day, there was.
Yeah, you're
back
right.
In the day,
it's kind of going backwards.
Yeah, back in the day, there was some pretty heavy coverage on ESPN2. They would kind of cover the world championships. They used to have my favorite thing about billiards. I'll tell you this much: pro billiards was the trick shot one.
Oh yeah,
the trick shot ones were sick because you'd have to match the trick shots or whatever. So that one was really cool. But I think billiards, especially no one really thinks of it as a professional sport because it's just such a casual thing. You see it in almost every bar. You see it in a lot of different places. All the rich people have pool tables in their houses. Whenever I would go over to a friend's house that had a pool table, I was like, dang.
I want a pool table.
They probably got cable here too. No, but billiards especially, back when I was a kid, I would watch that a lot. And it's I'm going to have to kind of refresh myself on some of the names of the players, but it gets pretty intense. I'm not going to lie. To see how good these guys are at with angles and how good they are, especially the women too. The women get pretty intense. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think especially the international level of competition in pool and billiards is crazy. I mean, they just had that Michigan Open. I just looked the Siebert's Michigan Open of 2022, and the winner, I believe, was from Singapore, Alyssa Siap, if that's how he pronounces his name. beat Robbie Capito from Hong Kong. That was the final results of that tournament. So the international perspective of billiards, I think it's one of those sports where it's like we take football so seriously because it's just so heavily played in America, where like billiards is kind of the same with like soccer. It's more of an international based sport that's kind of migrated over to us. So I think it's really cool to see a lot of these international players, especially coming into play in the U.S. and I mean even coming to Michigan of all places for pool. I mean that's just cool enough. And if for those curious, it was over in Battle Creek at the old Kellogg Arena for those in this 10-ball championship. So I think there's a lot that you can see to be like kind of just flat out amazed. I mean, we can all look on TikTok, we can all look on YouTube and find all these compilations of what Joe was talking about, these trick shot competitions, like the perfect break and all these crazy 8-ball geometric just
I didn't know that there was
displays. It's
Did
just
you know there's
incredible.
a 10-ball pool? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's 10-ball, 8-ball, 9-ball, and 10-ball.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, different rules, different sports, and I think it just gives you even more flexibility.
I remember I remember the name now of my favorite trick shotter for it, Mike Massey. I remember seeing him as a kid. He was on ESPN's Trick Shot Magic on like 2004 and like 5. I was just a wee lad, but at the time I could remember. I didn't know his name, but now that I've seen his face, it's that guy. He's insane. Like there was one where like he set up like a plastic football and like an upright, and he hit the ball into the football, and the football went through the upright. Like that's just sick. There's another one where like he stacked up like the ball like 10 feet or not 10 feet. I feel like I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it was like 5 feet or so off the table. Smoked that cue ball on the table and just jumped right up, went through it, landed right on an 8-ball, and then the 8-ball went in the pocket. That was insane.
That sounds more insane than I could even picture it to be.
It was, dude. How do you think like 5-year-old Joe felt when he saw that?
Just
my mind was
brain
blown.
Explosion.
My mind was blown.
Yeah, the first guy that I think I was introduced to in like professional billiards was that guy. The Venom Trick Shots was his channel. Florian Kohler.
Oh yeah, that guy. He was with Dude Perfect.
He was on with Dude Perfect, and that's how I was introduced to him.
Side note,
you could see all of those. And I think they've done 2 videos now.
Side note, have you seen Dude Perfect
Yes.
World or whatever?
Yes.
I think we need to talk about that for just undercover thing next week or something, because that place is insane.
Isn't that nuts?
Dude, we're gonna have to talk. We're talking
I'm
about
gonna
next
go.
week.
I kind of want to go there, low key.
Me too.
See what that's like.
I remember seeing their first video
That was my childhood.
when they were in their backyard as college kids.
Yeah.
Now they're building like $1 billion. Like here's the thing. I don't know if it'll actually get built, because they'll need like backers and like investors and all this stuff. And I don't think they have the money enough just by themselves to be able to do that. But like, if you have not seen Dude Perfect, I don't know what that place is called. But is it called Dude Perfect World?
I don't think it's called Dude Perfect World, but I know it's going to be their new headquarters is what they're talking about. So what did that be, like HQ3 now or whatever?
Yeah. I remember when they got their first office and it was that small, and I was like, this place is sick.
Yeah, like it's just crazy to see how these just famous creators in the sports world are just blown
Dude Perfect
up.
plans a $100 million headquarters and entertainment destination.
Yeah.
Planned facility to include a 330-foot tall trick shot tower, museum, restaurants, and more.
Yes. Isn't that nuts?
It may be the equivalent of Disney World for Dude Perfect superfans.
I don't know if it's gonna be
Isn't that insane?
big. I don't know if can it be that big?
How
no
is it
way.
that YouTubers can make that much money? That's my question. That's
Yeah.
insane to me.
Now, if they have that, what does Jimmy Donaldson get with Mr. Beast? Because
He makes a crap ton of money.
He makes double.
Dude, this has gone from pool to Dude Perfect. to
It
Mr.
really
Beast, but
has.
I do want to say this
There's
though
not
about
a
Mr.
whole
Beast.
lot with pool.
I
but
do
yeah.
want to say about Mr. Beast. I can't even talk. I'm
Yes.
thinking a million miles a minute right now. He is he has a crazy mind for making money,
He does.
because he has his main channel, his other sub shoot-offs or whatever he does, and every single one of those is dubbed in like 4 or 5 different languages. And if you see those, all those make the same amount of views. So on one video that he makes, he has to dub it in like 5 different languages. He'll make like however much, like he'll get like 20 million views on like his Spanish channel. He'll get 20 million views on his Japanese channel. It's crazy.
Yeah, you want to hear the subscriber count that he has?
What is
his main one's 105.
Well, yeah, his main one's over 100 million.
105.
Gaming's probably what, 30?
28.9.
29?
Reacts 19.4. Shorts 15.8. Beast Philanthropy 10.2. And then his second channel is 7.3.
That's
and I'm pretty
5
sure
diamond golden buttons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the
diamond
second
buttons.
one was just made for like live streams.
Yeah.
Like 7 million people are
the
watching his
gaming
live
one was
streams.
smart. But what's his? I'm gonna look that up. What's his total? What is Mr. Beast
Total subscriber count
subscriber
with
count?
international, dude? I can't imagine. Is it even countable?
Okay, across 6 channels, he has slightly more than 176 million.
Right.
Most of those carry over.
3 billion views. He's made an estimated like over almost 50 million. Or no, excuse me. 50 million, I want to say he's made. And that counting like literally his like charitable work too.
Dude's
where he's
insane.
raised almost 100 million for like team trees and seas.
He just gives away houses. He just does whatever he wants.
He does whatever
That's
he
insane.
wants. Anyway,
Anyways, back to billiards.
Billiards. Yeah. What else?
I don't know if we really can say anymore. I feel like we just like got on a train with Mr. Beast and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think with like, can you imagine a billiards player getting this amount of success to reach that level? Like, I don't know. It's just really hard in the playing field. But I mean, they're still making. They're still making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
I feel like once they get to the main level, it's a couple. They might make a cool like couple 100,000.
Oh yeah, I would say so. I wonder if they almost get more from doing those videos. And like, would you? I would
probably do.
I'd be curious to see if like Kohler makes more money doing trick shots with pool more than competing compared to some of these top level competitors.
Let's do some math. What's his name? Venom.
His name is Florian Kohler. Is his name? He's from France, and he's, I believe, an optometrist. Is his actual occupation?
He has a mill. He has a cool milli for his subscriber count.
Does he really have a mill? That's crazy.
He has 1 mil, and his 8 years ago, one of his videos got 60 million views.
That sounds right.
He had like 60, 28, 22, 14, 9.1. He's kind of raking it in. His previous ones he's more gone to shorts, which are still doing pretty solid. They're getting like a couple thousand each, but
yeah, he was.
I don't know when the last time
he was
uploaded an actual video.
The MVP of the 2012 China Trick Shot World Masters, and he's like a Guinness World Record holder. He's broken like 10 Guinness World Records, I want to say. He won like a world jump championship in billiards in Houston in like 2019 or 2018 or something like that. He just makes a ton of money. It's just crazy to think like some of these guys like competing professionally for billiards might not be able to compete with just the allure of trick shots on the internet.
And that's the one thing too that I've noticed, that a lot of the big names like Bryson has done it, and like I've seen a couple others do it. Like Kevin Kisner's done it.
Yeah, in golf.
They have kind of done more like video making along with what they do for. I mean, especially for them, since they make so much money, it's probably more like hobby like. But for a lot of it, like that's like a really cool thing for like these like professional athletes and stuff, and professional players that may play these lesser known sports. Like if you just did like videos for that, like that's another nice little paycheck coming in.
Yeah, I think it's the world of sports entertainment has changed drastically. So that's almost as more desirable than actually competing professionally. It gets a really nice side gig too while you're doing it, or especially after you're doing it.
That's true.
So the landscape's changing, Joe. It has with
really
marketing, NIL, competing.
We're talking about Dude Perfect a little bit more Monday.
Okay.
Next Tuesday for Undercover, because technically they're sport. They're athletes.
Mark that down. We'll talk about that. And all of that sort of nesticity is a word that came to mind. I don't know what to say from this point out. So we might want to end the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe at the MBSP on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you were on. All 10 of them that we're on, and especially our YouTube channel as well. You can find that, as well as social media on our Instagram and Twitter pages at the MBSP. We thank you all for tuning in to especially these long episodes, because we love bringing you guys this unique content.
Sometimes we just get on a ramble and you can't help it.
That's true. I hope they like it.
I hope so too. But take care, everybody.